Yes, sir.
Good thing you didn't say that we were live. Now we're live. You were live. We are live. It says we're live. Yeah, I believe we are. So now we got to go to YouTube and see.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube RN, dude.
Dude, I feel like I'm a gamer.
Epic Gamer. Oh, there we go. Latest from my esports media. Oh God, I have to mute this.
Oh wait, yeah, we're live.
Copy.
I like our thumbnail is our zoomer.
Yeah, dude. It's cute.
Yeah, it is cute. I like it too. All right. I'll retweet it once you tweet it out, and then we'll go.
That's why.
Jackson, if you're so inclined, I feel like we've never touched on betting lines in baseball, but if you're so inclined to talk about betting odds.
Sounds exciting.
We've never really done that, but I feel like that'd be kind of fun.
Heyo, I tweeted out the live.
Heyo. Wow, you did.
Yeah. No, I don't want to. Well, okay.
What in the heck?
All right. Well, should we wait maybe a minute and then go?
Yes, sir. Ooh. Got a retweet.
Oh, wow. Kaylee McEnany tested positive for COVID.
You just now saw that?
Yeah, 49 seconds ago. Breaking it on the Out of Play pod.
Yeah. The news broke like 2 hours ago, though.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I never mind. Oh.
Sadly, old news.
Why did it just come on? The AP Associated Press said breaking. Trump tweets that. Oh no, that was. No, wait. Oh, I guess it's that he tweets that he's leaving the hospital. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't follow the guy. I wouldn't know.
Wowzers.
Let me see what he's tweeted.
Anywho, shall we start the baseball podcast, or are we making this a politics podcast?
This is a news podcast, dude.
I don't know. Can you even have a news podcast? Like, I guess you could.
Yeah, you have to do it like every day.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's
not
all
right, let's do it. All right, welcome in to the Out of Play podcast, week 2 of our relaunch, and this was a wild card. You can't really call it a weekend, but it was like 4 days. None of our teams sadly have advanced, but that's okay. We're on the Tampa Bay Rays bandwagon. What are we on?
Yeah,
boy?
I'm on the Rays bandwagon. If all else fails, I'll just hop over to the Yankees. But
I am all aboard the Oakland A's and San Diego Padres. I want a West Coast World Series, baby. I mean, like, the Padres are just so fun to watch. And
I would just like to clarify my statement real quick about the Yankees.
All right, now hold on. I'll pin you so you have the floor here. All
okay,
right, go
so
ahead.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I'm a Reds fan through and through, but my family lives in Clearwater in the Tampa area now. So the backup will always be Tampa. But you know which baseball team has more roots in Tampa than the Rays? It's the Yankees. It's where they do spring training. Tampa is made up of a bunch of people from New York, So the Yankees are like the second team in town. And according to my dad, when they play each other down there, it gets really ugly between the fan bases. So those are my 2 backups. That's where I live.
Wow.
Very interesting.
If you see me wearing Yankees merch or having any Yankees merch, I got it at a spring training game. So I didn't just order it. That'd be weird.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
But
we'll allow it.
You brought up the Padres. I'm trying to figure out which. There you go. I like that one. Yeah. So you brought up the Padres, who were down 1-0 to the Cardinals to start the wild card round, and they storm back and win 2 in a row after I think being down 6-2 in game 2. And everyone thought it was over, but then the Cardinals bullpen imploded, and I think that San Diego offense finally caught fire. So what'd you like about San Diego in their 3-game series?
Well, I think, it's a couple of things. I like just the atmosphere around the team. You know, they're fun. You could see when they're out there, when they had that big comeback, you know, when they were down 6-2 in game 2 and in game 3, I mean, everyone was hitting homers in that game. It was just, you know, you could tell they're having fun. You know, I think that's really valuable when it comes to having success in the postseason. You know, I think the teams that have fun, in addition to having ridiculous amounts of skill, which the Padres have, you're going to go far. I don't know how far now that the Padres are going to get because all their pitching's hurt. But I mean, they were fun to watch, and you know, like I said, the talent is there too. I saw it was a stat because I think it was game 2 where Will Myers and Fernando Tatis Jr. both hit 2 home runs. They are the second teammates to ever hit 2 home runs in the same game in a postseason game. The other 2 are, of course, Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. So I mean, that's pretty impressive company. Not saying that Will Myers and Fernando Tatis are the second coming of Gehrig and Ruth. But, I mean, they're 2 really talented baseball players. The team is full of talented baseball players, and they're exciting. To me, that's what the MLB needs to capture is teams like that they bring the excitement. They're having fun out there, and you can see the joy that they're having on the field. I think that's kind of what's missing from baseball, and that needs to be put on a pedestal to me. It was fun watching that series, and obviously, you know, you can tell I'm not a Cardinals fan, so that was nice to see too. But I mean, honestly, I don't think I would have been that upset if they did that to the Cubs. They're just such a fun team to watch. Like that was impressive. Really impressive series.
Yeah. So I guess moving off of that, maybe series, Jackson or Will here, I guess what stuck out to you in the wild card round in particular, whether it's maybe a particular series, did you like the format? How did the flow of the games go? Really anything or all the above?
You know, I really liked the format of the wild card round because every series just about gave something different. If you hated yourself and wanted to hate the game of baseball, you would watch the Reds-Braves series, where through 13 innings, 1 run was scored in game 1, and then in game 2, 1 run was scored until like the 8th inning, where the Braves finally got their bats going. Or if you loved baseball and you wanted to have a good time, you would watch the Cardinals-Padres series, which was great. Lots of offense, fun to watch. I mean, for the Rays and Blue Jays, I don't know. Nothing really stood out to me. It was a quick, easy 2 games for Tampa. Yeah, I mean, Cleveland, New York kind of stands out just because it was kind of unique. Miami, Chicago was kind of fun just because Miami won. And yeah. The one thing that really sticks out to me is all 4 NL Central teams were taken out in the first round. Which
how about
all
3 AL Central teams?
Yeah, Brewers were expected against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Cubs lost obviously to the Marlins. Like I said, the Reds, who were thought to be able to upset Atlanta, did not. And then St. Louis lost to San Diego in a thriller, I'd say. And yeah, I was hard on the narrative of all 7 Central teams come from the best 2 divisions in baseball. Oops, I guess, on that prediction.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that stands out to me too is that the NL Central went 0-7 in their series, and combined, those 7 teams had 2 wins. The 2 wins being the Cardinals in game 1, and then the White Sox in their game 1 against the Athletics. I mean, I don't know if it so much speaks to the fact that, you know, maybe the AL Central or the Central divisions are really weak and they just got strong playing against each other. Or, you know, I think it also points out something else that really stands out to me is that when you don't see a team a lot in the regular season, it's hard to prepare for them. I think that's something I kind of talked about in last week's show, is that it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because for the most part, you know, these teams are going against teams they haven't seen all year. You know, it happened to the Cubs going out to the NL East. I think you could say the same for the Reds, you know, against an NL East team. And then you look at the Cardinals and Brewers taking on NL West teams. And now, obviously, I think in the case of the Cardinals and Brewers, they were just facing teams that were on paper probably better. But still, I mean, that inability to prepare, or to have a lot of time to prepare and really know who your opponent's going to be. In a normal regular baseball season, everyone gets a chance to see those teams at least once, and that just didn't happen this year. So I think that's the thing that stood out to me more than anything. But I agree with Jackson. I thought the format was cool. I love a little 3-game series. I think it makes a lot more sense for a wild card, just because baseball is not played for. It's not like football where there is one game to decide everything. It's always been a series. You always, even in the regular season. So I think that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. I thought it was cool. It was nice to have 8 games of baseball in one day. That was kind of insane, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know,
overwhelming almost, but
I agree. I think we saw I think a bunch of the series were polar opposites. I mean, Jackson, you brought up that Atlanta-Cincinnati series. I mean, that was just a tale of pitching. And eventually in game 2, up until the 9th inning, I think it was. I mean, when Atlanta got
8th or 9th at that point, I had checked out mentally.
Right. I mean, before that inning, it was like 2 runs combined in the series. It was like the Acuna double, and then before that, it was the Freeman walk-off. So that was, if you like pitching, that was a great series. And then you turn to, for instance, game 2 of Cleveland, New York. I mean, that was just a shootout. It was like a 10-9 final back and forth.
There were 19 runs. It was incredible, or something like that.
What's that?
It was like 19 runs, I think, in that one game.
Yeah. So you have 19 runs in that, exactly. And I don't know. I think the 1 seeds came out and took care of business, both with Tampa Bay and then the Dodgers taking care of their series. So, I don't know. I mean, they took care of business, but aside from that, I mean, I thought the White Sox put up a good fight. I really thought they'd beat Oakland. So I don't know. I think that was a little disappointing if you're a White Sox fan, because you probably felt that you were the better team there. But you got 3 games to do it, and that's a game where the wild card system, this 3-game series, saved Oakland, because the White Sox went up. They won game 1-0 in the series, and then Oakland stormed back to win the next 2. So that's an instance where that worked. Same thing for San Diego after going down 1-0. So I think a couple times the wild card, this 3-game series kind of saved a couple teams in particular. That both actually advanced to the next round in Oakland and San Diego. So yeah, I think it's interesting.
I have a question for you about the format.
From the East. Yeah.
So say next year they want to keep a similar playoff format to this, and with the 3-game wild card series and whatever, but they take away they go back to more of a normal number of teams instead of 16 teams making the playoffs. So what if they had 1 or 2 wild card series instead of the 4 for each league, I guess?
Yeah. No, I think that would make sense. I mean, you see, the NFL has a wild card weekend, but it also has, I think, the top 2 teams in the AFC and NFC get a first round bye. I think something like that would make sense for baseball. I feel like you have to reward teams like the Dodgers or the Rays.
Right.
There has to be some maybe stake in winning games at a high level in the regular season, right? I mean, otherwise everyone's at the same playing field, and you have, for instance, was the Cubs Marlins as a 2 versus 7 seed? I think it was, and you had the Marlins.
No, Marlins and Cubs was 6 versus 3.
Or 6-3.
Yeah. Oh, 6-3. Okay. So in that instance, I'd say maybe the top 2 seeds both get buys in the American League and National League. But
so Atlanta would have moved on, and LA would have already been moved on.
Right. And if you look at, what happened, what played out in the wild card round, the 1 and 2 seed won in the National League, and in the American League, it was the same thing, I believe. It was Oakland and the
Rays. Yeah, they both won.
Yeah. So
Oakland a little less easily, but they still won. So
yeah, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I hope they bring it back next year. But like I said, I think it's 8 teams right now in both the American League and National League. I think maybe something more like 6 would make sense in each, especially when you have a longer season. But I don't know. I think it makes it fun when you have more teams in the playoffs. I wouldn't be opposed if next season, they played just the full 162 game slate, but maybe keep the 8 teams in. Maybe those teams, I think maybe teams such as, I don't know, the Nationals, for instance. Everyone knows they started 1931. Last year when they won the World Series, maybe they get in and make a magical run, but we don't know because it was only a 60-game season. So I think there's definitely a lot of variables that change within a year. Maybe the Blue Jays don't end up making the playoffs. Maybe the Marlins don't because they can't sustain the success. We don't know. But I think maybe next year when you go back to a longer season, we'll get those answers. So I don't know. But nonetheless,
the defending champion Marlins.
The defending, What, 7-0, I think I saw in postseason matchups are the Marlins.
And their 2 postseasons, well, now 3, they've never lost a series.
Yeah, except there's what, a 16-year drought or something like that, 17-year drought in between.
Hey, man, as long as you keep the record perfect, who cares,
Yeah, but I don't know, guys. So today starts the divisional round series. If we go to the American League, you got in LA, in Dodger Stadium, the Houston Astros against the Oakland Athletics. So an AL West matchup there, the first of 4 divisional round matchups. It's kind of crazy how that panned out. But
wow.
Yeah, it's the divisional squared, I guess. I don't know. It's pretty weird.
I can tell you the starters right now for each game.
Go for it. Houston, Oakland.
And just about, since we're live and it's whatever, in just about an hour, you got Houston, Oakland, and that's going to be, we got Lance McCullers Jr., which is an interesting choice in my eyes, versus Bassett for the A's. And then after that, at 8:07, is what it's telling me, Garrett Cole and Blake Snell, which might be the best pitching matchup of the playoffs. I mean, it's got a lot to beat with how we saw the game with Trevor Bauer and Max Fried go, where they both kept it scoreless until the 13th inning. Well, each pitching staff did. They didn't go that far themselves.
Well, but they almost. I mean, Bauer was what, 7 innings?
I think they both. I think they both went 7 innings.
And Fried went 7. And Fried could have kept going.
Fried either went 6 or 7
pitches. Yeah, 80 pitches through 7. I mean, that was a spectacular pitching matchup.
What do you guys think? I guess focusing on this Houston-Oakland series, Oakland won the season matchup. I think it was like 6-2 they won or something like that. But do you think Oakland continues their good fortune in the playoffs?
Well, honestly, I think Oakland takes this just because Houston, they got lucky in the wild card round facing Minnesota, who hasn't won a playoff game in 18, 19 tries now.
Yeah.
And I think them facing Oakland is going to be a much different test than Minnesota was, a much more difficult test. So I have Oakland in probably 3 games. It might be a 3-game sweep. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
Really? Okay.
I like Oakland as well, but I don't feel as confident in saying that. I mean, like you said, obviously the Twins have absolutely horrible luck in the postseason. Of course, they drew the Astros. But again, I think now this is kind of interesting because we were talking about earlier how the NL Central struggled against teams outside of their division. Now these are 2 divisional opponents, and Jackson, like you pointed out, Oakland feasted on the Astros this year. Keep in mind the Astros made the playoffs with the worst winning percentage in baseball history, tied with the Milwaukee Brewers for 483 winning percentage. So I wouldn't exactly call them a great team, and I don't really know how much I like their pitching. I mean, you mentioned McCullers is going tonight, and they still got Zach Greinke. But I mean, they don't have Justin Verlander. He's going to be out for 12 to 14 months after his surgery here, and he's already missed most of the season because I think he was having Tommy John.
Yeah.
And then obviously Garrett Cole is now in New York. So those were their, in normal circumstances, Greinke was their 3. Last year, Greinke was their 3. McCullers would have been their 4 had he been healthy. I don't really know if I like their pitching, but I mean, they definitely have enough talent, trash cans or not, to win a game or 2. I mean, they can certainly make this series interesting. I still like the A's better. I think Billy Beane's built another good team. I think more than anything, maybe they just have a more favorable path this year, at least the divisional round. Like I said, I don't really like the matchup for the Astros against the A's. I think the A's have better pitching. The A's definitely have a better bullpen. just a really strong bullpen, and their offense too. You like, Chris Davis hit a home run, Marcus Semien. You got Matt Olson over at first. They brought in Jake Lamb, who's played very well for them after struggling. I know in Arizona, and I forget where else he'd been at. But I mean, I like the composition of this A's team. It'll certainly be a feisty matchup too, because I mean, there's not a lot of love between these two franchises. The A's, I'm sure, like a lot of American League teams, have it out for the Astros. But yeah, I think I'll say A's in 4. I think the Astros get at least 1 in this series. But yeah.
Yeah. So I actually like Houston in this series. I think Houston wins in 5. Vegas likes Oakland tonight in game 1, but I don't know. I could see the series going 4, but I think it'll go 5.
You think Houston's going to win?
I think Houston's going to win. I do.
Can you tell me why you think that? Because I'm genuinely curious as to how anybody can pick the Astros.
Yeah, I watched what they did against the Twins, and yes, the Twins haven't won in forever on that stage, but they were able to get out of jams, and I think it's something they'll have to do against this Oakland team to really have a chance here. And I think that's where maybe a couple base hits for the Twins. There was a couple good plays made by Alex Bregman at third in that series that saved a couple runs in the first inning. I know there was jams, and I think back-to-back games, Twins had bases loaded early on, couldn't capitalize. Well, Oakland, I think if they do the similar thing, if Houston's able to get out and of those jams, I think they'll have a chance. But I don't know. Houston has the experience; they've been there. Oakland, they just won their first playoff series in forever, and I don't know. I mean, I think the White Sox were a better team than Oakland. I still believe that. I just think Oakland, maybe down the stretch in that final game, since they got it to a game 3, I think Chicago was kind of struggling, figuring out which pitchers to put out there. I know they went with, was it Dane Dunning in game 3? And I know he didn't last super long, and they had kind of issues with that. Houston, though, similar position, but they have a rookie name. I believe his name is Framber Vasquez, and he pitched, I think, 5 scoreless against the Twins in the series in the wild card round. And they've just been on this stage. I don't know. I kind of like it. I guess no one's really expecting Houston really to do anything just because of, I don't know, no one. And I don't know. I think they're playing this us against the world kind of mantra. I think they like that. I think they do. But I don't know. I mean, are the Astros necessarily a better team than Oakland? I don't know. I mean, I think on paper they have better names, but I don't know. I think this will be a close series, but I think Houston will pull it out. Pitching really doesn't blow me away for either side. I mean, Oakland's got Chris Bassett. They have their closer, Liam Hendricks, but you saw Bob Melvin kind of stretched him out. He didn't look super sharp against the White Sox. They struggled to get that game 2 as Chicago kind of came back. So I don't know. It really depends what bullpen shows up for Oakland, but I don't know. I think the series is a toss-up, which is why I think Houston has a chance. I just give them the experience, and I give them the advantage from there.
That's fair, I guess, with playoff experience and such.
The one thing I'll say, though, is that the A's, I would argue, they just won their first playoff series since 2006, but they've been in the playoffs the last 3 years. And they've lost. They've had some hard losses. I think they've learned how to make adjustments. You don't win a playoff series regardless of the circumstances without making adjustments and understanding how to win. I think Bob Melvin, I think this is either 4 or 5 playoff appearances under him now, maybe 5th time's the charm. So I guess we'll see. I certainly think it's going to be a close series because, again, these are 2 divisional rivals. They always play each other tough.
Yeah.
But the A's seem like the team that's got a chance to go this year.
I think these teams are the 3rd and 4th best team in the American League left. I mean, I think Tampa Bay and New York are both better teams. I wouldn't say maybe the Yankees pitching is as good as maybe Houston or Oakland. Maybe a bit. I'd maybe give the Yankees a slight edge, but not by much, if anything. I just think you look at the Yankees offense, and we'll get to that series next, as maybe we'll just transition into it. Yankees and the Rays. Yankees and the Rays in San Diego. That series starts, I think you said, Jackson, 8 o'clock, 8:07, first pitch tonight. That one coming from Petco Park. So, yeah, I think this is a firepower matchup with. I think the Yankees finally showed up like people wanted them or expected them to all year. Aaron Judge had a home run. Giancarlo Stanton had 2 home runs. Gleyber Torres played well. Giovanni Urshela had a grand slam in Game 2 after being down 4-1. This team is deep, and it really depends what team shows up. But again, I could see this being a potential upset. I actually think the Yankees will win this series. I think this is where the magic stops for the Rays personally. But the Rays are a sound team, and I think this one could also go pretty deep, maybe 5 games as well, just because the pitching isn't super. But I think tonight they got Garrett Cole for the Yankees. He's going to be tough to beat. I think he's a better pitcher than Blake Snell, and I like the Yankees lineup. I think New York wins tonight.
I'm going to go with the Rays in this series, and this is a thought I had, and I wanted to say with the Astros too, is that I think a 3-game series favored their pitching better because they have, again, you can throw a guy like Greinke and you can throw maybe a Lance McCullers, like your 2 best pitchers out there, and you might have a chance to offset the pitching of the other team, right? I think you could say the same about the Yankees. You've got Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka that you can throw out there for the first 2 games. That's a pretty tough 1-2 punch to match up against. But I think in a 5-game series, the overall pitching depth of the Rays is much more favorable there. I think it gives them a chance to kind of outlast the Yankees. And the offenses, man, I don't know. I would probably say that the Yankees have a better offense. They just, when it gets hot, there's just no way to stop the Yankees. It doesn't matter who you throw at them if they're hot, but if you can neutralize them early, then it's a different story. But to me, I think the Rays, I think they're going to handle this one. I don't know what their splits were against the Yankees in the regular season. Obviously, would have faced them a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally, I like the Rays in this one. I'll go again, Rays in 4.
I think Rays in 5. I think New York will make it a fun series, but I think Tampa will just come out of it eventually. It'll be a nice 5-game series that'll keep everybody engaged, on the edge of their seat. Garrett Cole, Snell tonight, which, once again, you can't get a much better pitching matchup than that. So who knows? Who really knows? Yeah, Cole was kind of shaky in that start against Cleveland, so from what I remember.
Yeah, I don't know, but he was able to get out of jams. He gave up 6 hits, but he's so effective in striking out batters. That's really his edge. Blake Snell's a great pitcher in his own. But I don't know, when you look at the Yankees lineup versus that Tampa Bay Rays lineup, I don't know. Obviously the Yankees aren't the Blue Jays. Can you believe that this is the first time that these 2 teams have met in the postseason? Which
really?
Yeah, this is the first time they've never met in the postseason before, which is kind of crazy.
I had no. I would assume. I thought they had met before. That's crazy,
right? I'm like, you would feel like they would have played each other, but no. It's the Yankees, Red Sox. Yankees, maybe Blue Jays, but never. Yankees. The Rays are a fairly new franchise. What? Was it 90? Is it even 97? Or is that too early? Or is that wait? Is it later? Was it 07? No. 98.
No, they were in 98. They came along with the Marlins, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Or around
late
the same
expansion.
time as the Marlins.
240.
Because the Marlins won the. Yeah,
No, never mind. Go ahead. Hello.
Well,
yes.
What were you going to look up?
Did you ask a question?
No, I was waiting for you guys, and I thought we froze.
Oh no!
I was like, what happened?
We all thought we froze, but okay. I think Yankees in 5. Jackson, you said Rays in 5, and Will, you said what? Rays in 4.
Rays in 4. Although I gotta be honest, I feel like every pick I made last round was wrong and violently wrong. So I don't know if I can trust my picks anymore. I think I picked the Twins. I was like, the Astros don't have a shot. It's going to be a twin sweep, and then, oops. I didn't do
I will say that
my history homework there.
I'll say that one of us will be right because we both picked both teams.
True. Someone's gonna win.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Rays. And if not, I win either way. It feels nice to be in the driver's seat. Speaking of, Jordan is frozen. My man's is gone.
Oh, he's captain, back.
Back.
There he is.
I'm back. I thought I won. I was like a walk-off. I made my pick and then I left. No. All right. Well, that's the American League, and National League Divisional Series. Both of them start tomorrow. First one in Houston, the Marlins against the Braves. 4-game slate for tomorrow, I believe. All 4 of these divisional series, all 8 teams will be in action. Pretty fun there. So the Marlins, kind of the maybe the underdog story of the postseason, at least so far, beating your hometown Chicago Cubs 2-0, which is kind of a shocker. That didn't even go 3 games, but the rainout kind of extended the series there. And against the Braves, who struggled to put up runs against the Reds, but maybe had clutch, timely hitting. And their bullpen, along with Max Fried in game 1, and the rookie, it was Ian Anderson, I believe was his name in game 2. Really, that were dealing. I mean, it just totally blew by the Reds lineup. I don't know if it was just a matter of like the Reds just not being able to hit or just not being able to execute with runners in scoring position.
Maybe it's a little bit of that.
Yeah. So sorry. But Marlins Braves, what are your all's thoughts on the series?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, going back to the wild card series for both these teams for a sec, I mean, there's a very similar story. Is that their pitching kind of just shut down the Cubs and Reds respectively. It's very hard to talk about for Jackson and I, honestly. But I mean, the Marlins, I was blown away with how good their pitching is. I mean, Sandy Alcantara, I don't, if you say it like Chipper Jones did, and Sixto Sanchez were as good as advertised, if not better. I mean, you talk about Ian Anderson, the rookie for the Braves. I mean, Sixto Sanchez, just as good. Their pitching, at least the 2 guys I saw, they throw as starters, they're throwing high 90s. They've got good breaking stuff that they mix in. I mean, I really liked what I saw out of the Marlins. And again, for them, it was kind of timely hitting. The game 1, Cubs went up 1-0 on their only run of the series, Ian Happ's home run. And then it was a kind of a reaching out, like poke out into the left field home run for Corey Dickerson. I mean, he didn't exactly smoke the ball, but it was just a line drive. It just had enough to get out. And then the next batter up, or a couple batters later, rather, Jesus Aguilar hits a 2-run homer. I mean, that's, nothing happened until like the 8th inning of the game, and it paid off for the Marlins. So I think that's the key for them is that timely hitting. They're not really a long ball team. Most of their offense has come on traditional singles, doubles, kind of small ball type stuff like that. Great,
because in this matchup, the Braves facing the Reds were facing a team who had close to 60% of their total offense from the home run. So for the Marlins, they're going to give this Braves team a challenge they haven't seen in the postseason yet.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I hate to say it, but I kind of like the Marlins in this series because of that fact. Like baseball, obviously now is so much, it's the 3 true outcomes of home run, walk, or strikeout. But the Marlins, I mean, they're just a good contact team. They get on base. They score runs when the opportunity presents itself. And, I mean, their pitching is good enough that it gets them by. Their bullpen was strong. There weren't like a lot of holes. And their closer is former Cub Brandon Kinsler, who he's been phenomenal for them all season. So I'll be honest, I'm going to take the Marlins in 5. I think the Marlins can upset the Braves here. Wow. I don't know what it is about the Marlins in the postseason, but like I think there's a very good shot that they leave Houston 8-0 in postseason series.
Wow. Well, Jackson, do you want to make your pick? Or you want me to go ahead?
See, I'm having trouble because I want Miami to win. I want them to win this series. But I've been put in the torture chamber by the Atlanta Braves, so I can't. It's hard for me to pick against them. So my heart says Miami because I saw them beat the Cubs, and if you can beat the Cubs, I think you can beat anybody, except for maybe the Dodgers. But it's not like the Braves were exceptionally outstanding against Cincinnati. It's just Cincinnati was exceptionally unlucky and bad. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I think Miami can do it, but I have a hard time picking against Atlanta.
Yeah.
So let's just say Miami in 5.
Okay. Well, so you guys both picked Miami here. I think that this is going to go the other way. So I picked the underdogs, if you want to call the Yankees an underdog, but in the American League, and I actually think we'll start with at least the Braves. I think the Braves, the favorite likely going into this matchup, I think that they're going to win. I think they have probably maybe aside from the Padres, who I think have a pretty stacked lineup, in the Yankees, but I'd say Atlanta has definitely a top 3 offense between I think Padres, Yankees, and Braves left in this postseason. And I think they got the timely hitting. It took a while, which maybe is the only concern. But I think the Reds overall, I think they have just better pitching, at least in my opinion, starting pitching than the Marlins. And this Braves team got by the Reds, so I think that I liked what I saw out of the Marlins, but I'm almost kind of hesitant because when will the youth show? I mean, we saw that with the Braves the past couple of years, where they've had a young team, the Ozzie Albies out there, Ronald Acuna, and so on, led by the veteran Freddie Freeman, but they just really hadn't been on that stage in so long. Now I think maybe they crack through. And I think they're going to beat the Marlins. I mean, I was impressed, but their pitching really gave me no reason to believe that they won't be able to at least match what the Marlins are going to bring. And if you look at it from offense to offense, I think Atlanta has the better offense. So I think Atlanta, I want to give maybe the Marlins a game out of respect, but I think this could be a sweep.
Out of respect? Jeez, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the Marlins have never won a postseason game. I'll take it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, never lost. Yeah, that's right. I think Atlanta takes this, and I'll go 4 games. I think Miami will maybe win a game, but Atlanta to me is just the better team. I don't know.
When Lewis Brinson is raising the commissioner's trophy over his head, I'm gonna show this clip to you, okay, bud?
What did you say when the Marlins hoist the trophy?
When Lewis Brinson specifically is hosting that trophy.
Lewis Brinson. I saw him in spring training against the Cardinals, and I was like, this guy is still playing for the Marlins, but yeah, nonetheless, he is. Maybe he'll light it up now. He'll light it up. But Marlins Braves, that one starts tomorrow. That leaves our final matchup, the Padres and Dodgers, guys. This one I think will be maybe the most fun series out there left. I mean, I think both of these teams have a lot of star power on both sides, and I don't know, even pitching. We saw what San Diego did at the trading deadline, getting a guy like Clevenger who missed the wild card round, but looks like he could potentially be on the active roster here against the Dodgers. And they were led by a guy like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis, who really lit it up against the Cardinals, came to life in game 2, and along with the rest of that Padres offense. So what do you guys think about this series, and who do you like?
I think it's going to be an absolute epic. Lots of epic home runs, doing their thing. Slam Diego and LA. I honestly have a hard time picking a winner for this because I like both teams. But if St. Louis can take San Diego that far to the brink, why am I supposed to think they're going to beat the Dodgers for sure?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the Dodgers are going to take this in 4 or 5, but I don't think San Diego gets the series. And it's solely based on the fact that St. Louis took them to 3 games and almost swept them in 2 if the Padres hadn't finally woken up. You can't sleep like you did in game 1 against the Cardinals against the Dodgers.
See, now I want to counter that with 2 things. One, it's only a 3-game series. So even if you lose the first game, you're already on. Every game from there on out is an elimination game. In this series, in a 5-game series, then if you lose the first 2 games, then everything else is elimination. So the stakes would be different anyway if you don't win that first game. I think that's why a lot of teams did get swept in the wild card round, is because once you lose, your back's already kind of against the wall. I think it speaks more to the Padres' ability to come back and be resilient, and they did kind of look dead in the water until
another point
game 2,
there,
like halfway through.
They've played each other a lot this season, being in the West Division. So, and obviously we know who won that division by a pretty good amount. So I just think the Dodgers are the better baseball team. They've shown it time and time again that they're better than the Padres. And like, that's no disrespect to the Padres because they're good. Tatis is coming to himself as a superstar this year. And the rest of the team's doing well too. Chris Paddock's having a great season. I mean, there's not enough good things you can say about San Diego this year. But I don't know. I just don't see this Dodgers team losing to them.
All right. I mean, that's fair. I'll be honest. I don't see the Dodgers losing either. I was kind of – I just wanted to play.
I get you're trying to play devil's advocate because this is a hard series to say that San Diego's going to win. And Jordan, I don't know who you've got, but I have a hunch it's going to be LA for similar reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going to be LA, but in 5. Again, I talked about it a little earlier. Like, the Padres pitching, I think it depends a lot on the health. If Mike Clevenger comes back, I think that's huge. I think because they need a second arm, because Chris Paddock, he's been good, but also his ERA was like 4, almost like 4.5, I think, or something like that. So he hasn't had the greatest of seasons. I mean, offense can only take you so far. I think pitching wins in the playoffs. And the Dodgers, they have
win in the playoffs though.
Well, it can. Wait, what? I didn't hear what you said.
I said, does pitching win in the playoffs though? And then just because that's all I had to see as a Reds fan.
No, well, I mean, pitching and timely hitting, but I think you want to talk about experience, and the Dodgers, out of almost I would say more than any of the teams left in the postseason, maybe even more than the Astros, they have the playoff experience. I mean, they've been the back-to-back World Series. If they didn't get knocked out by the Nationals last year, I don't know who else would have slowed them down. I mean, the Dodgers are just such a battle-tested team. And then you add in Mookie Betts now, who's one of the best baseball players in the game.
Mookie.
I mean, I like the Dodgers in 5. I think it will be interesting. Our resident Dodger fan and toss-up host Drew Fry does not really like their bullpen. I obviously don't watch as much Dodger baseball as he does, but he's concerned about like Kenley Jansen and stuff, which is, I mean, that's your closer. That's a legit concern.
If you ever wanted to see a super fan, watch a Dodgers playoff game with Drew Fry. I swear on my life. I get up for baseball games. I get excited for sports. I've never seen anything like Drew Fry. It's incredible. I love watching it. We were editing some shows the other night and the Dodgers were playing. And like the entire time, he never talked he didn't talk in a normal voice for like 30 minutes. It was only yells. And like, I don't know. I love that kind of enthusiasm. So if you ever want to have a fun time, watch a Dodgers playoff game with him.
That's beautiful. But yeah, so I think there are maybe a couple questions just around, the Dodgers. Can they seal the deal? But I mean, I think overall, teams are pretty evenly matched on offense, but I think the edge just goes a little bit to the Dodgers. But I think, this will be my series to watch. This series, I think
this series and the New York and Tampa series are the
Rays
two
and Yankees.
left.
Those are going to be the like marquee matchups. Like those are like, we better get like, whoever's got the TBS broadcast. It's going to be Ernie Johnson,
when you think
and then
about
whoever's
it,
got the Fox. Like, I want Joe Buck on San Diego and Los Angeles. Like, I want to hear him call this series. Like, that'll be.
Plus, like, when you think about it, it's two kind of David and Goliath series in LA and San Diego, and then Tampa and New York, where it's the two traditional powers in New York and LA versus two teams that have been in the same division as them for a while now and have always been trying to punch up at them. Now, it's a little bit of a different story with Tampa being the number 1 seed, But I think in the general narrative, it's still small market Tampa versus the New York Yankees. And then it's the same thing in San Diego. They're a startup team. They just got good. Everybody likes them because they're young and fun versus the playoff tested veterans in like Justin Turner and Clayton Kershaw with like a few new additions in the past couple of years, maybe Walker Buehler, but like they aren't the youngest team. And like, I don't know. It's two really fun series with two really fun narratives running against them as well.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers in 5 in this one. I think San Diego is really good, and I think with this series, it's just, at least for San Diego, I think it's just like a bad luck draw. Like I would probably favor the Padres over the. I'd favor them over the Marlins, and I'd probably take them over the Braves in a 5-game series as well. But I think the Dodgers are the best team in the National League, and. I mean, you mentioned Walker Buehler, who I believe is going to get the start in Game 1. You throw him with a guy like Kershaw, who looked really good against the Brewers. I put all those haters, I guess, to made him quiet, to silence. So, Kershaw, I think it depends if he continues to stretch that he's on. I think they're in business, and a guy you brought up, Justin Turner, who really. He hasn't really turned it on this year like we're accustomed to him doing.
Yeah.
Maybe put it any time. They have 2 MVPs, Bellinger and Betts, right in the middle of the lineup. Like I said on the toss-up on Friday, they have a guy like David Price who opted out of the whole season, yet they haven't really missed his absence.
Yeah, imagine if they had David Price right now. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the rich get richer. But yeah, I think I agree with Drew's kind of worry with the bullpen. And it's kind of been just kind of a similar theme for years in LA, where it's just been, okay, your starter goes 6 innings, then you got to worry about, okay, who's throwing the 7th and 8th to get to Jansen. It's been like that for quite some time. But they got the young kid, Urias, I think, who's pretty good, the lefty.
Dustin May.
So they got some ballers. What's that? Will?
No, so they got Dustin May as a reliever as well. I think almost this year it's like the inverse. Like they've got the guys to get to Jansen. It's like, can they trust Jansen to hold the lead?
Right. Right. And I haven't even brought up AJ Pollock, who has had a really good year for the Dodgers as well. So I mean, they're really sound. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I think the Padres are going to have to do something similar to what they did against St. Louis, where they just have to outscore them. I mean, Game 3, I think it was, San Diego used 9 pitchers in that game. And it was a long one to get by. Just the postseason. Constant St. Louis Cardinals, who just always seem to be there. So I don't know. San Diego, I think they will give the Dodgers a hard time, and I could see them upsetting the Dodgers. I just don't think it'll happen, at least yet. But I think this is an encouraging sign if you're a San Diego fan to get to this point, and I think they'll be back. I think they'll be back for years to come, and who knows? They'll make some noise against the Dodgers. I think they will. So,
definitely. I don't know. The Padres' time is coming, but it's not this year. So
agreed. Well, okay, so that's basically a wrap on the divisional series. Is there any other, points or maybe anything you guys have out there that you can think of?
Not that I can think of. I don't know. I've been betting a lot on baseball.
I got one, guys. So I saw.
Oh no, he's frozen. Oh no, Will's frozen too. Am I the only one live? Oh man. Oh no.
Man, we're all buffering now.
Oh, wait.
Oh no. Hello? Yeah, I was the only one live. No.
Oh no. Maybe it's a sign to wrap up. But real quick, I saw that the Tigers are looking at Alex Cora and AJ Hinch as managerial.
Oh no, he's done again. Hello, Alex Hinch and AJ Cora as possible Tigers managers. Is that what you're going to say? Hello?
Yes. Cora and Hinch. Did you hear me?
Yeah, they're the possible
Wait, you're not
next
frozen
managers.
Yes. All right. So, there you go. After 5 minutes, you got it. Okay. So what do you think about both of those guys getting jobs in Detroit?
I mean, why not? They served their time. I think they're fine. Just hire them. I mean, they're the best managers on the market.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll probably bring scrutiny to Detroit. Just like, look, you hired cheaters. Why would you do this? But but also at the same time, I don't know how complicit Cora was, and he won the World Series.
And it's not like that's not a practice that's not been done. Mark McGwire's a hitting coach in the league. Barry Bonds has helped teams out in spring training.
Yeah.
So I feel like the smoke will probably still be more directed at the players on the Astros anyway. So I mean, it's probably not a bad tactic, and they're not. I mean, I think Alex Cora is a really good manager, so I don't think it's a bad idea. The question is will they be able to win with the Tigers? No offense to the Tigers, but I don't really know where they are in their rebuild. They might still be rebuilding, quite frankly. So,
and here's the thing: I think the fan base itself will be adverse to the hiring because, like you said, they are cheaters, and like I said, that's not a new practice, but it was one of the biggest cheating scandals in Major League history. So, I think if they don't win fairly quickly, the fan base will never grow on them and they won't stick around for long. But if they can produce results decently in the first 2 to 3 years, I think it'll just get swept under the rug and people will just be like, look at what Alex Cora did to the Tigers. They got good again. But if he doesn't do that, then I don't know. This is a chance, if Cora gets hired, to rewrite his legacy.
I agree. And if he wins, I think I don't say people will forget about it, but I think it'll certainly help.
Forget about it. They'll he'll get brought up after he retires if he has a successful career in Detroit. They'll be like, remember when he cheated? Yeah, but then he came and gave us a World Series, so whatever. Which is very hypothetical, and I know, but it's possible that he totally makes that a footnote in his legacy instead of his entire legacy.
No. Well, all right. Well, I think our internet is giving out, so I think it's telling us
your internet's had enough.
Yeah, usually it happens. So, that'll do it for How to Play on our Week 2 relaunch. But in about 30 minutes, we got divisional round baseball. Oakland Athletics, Houston Astros starting the night off, followed by Yankees and Rays at 8:07. So we'll be watching and following along, but we'll be back maybe to preview the championship series when those come about, and looking forward to that. So, guys, thank you. And StreamYard, we love you. This is so much better than Zoom, I will say. I'm a supporter.
Indeed.
Oh,
one more thing.
Not a big fan.
I'm in spring training mode. In case you couldn't tell, this is Cubs spring training hat. Sedona, Arizona T-shirt. I'm ready for the spring. As much as I'll enjoy the fall classic here, I can't wait for the 2021 season because the Cubs are out again. So
love it. Rebuild. Hey, you got the Bears at least. You got the Bears. Hey, Joe Burrow, congrats! You got the big win, Jackson.
Hey, he finally got his first win.
I know. Cincinnati. Hey, the Browns as well. All right, well, that'll do it for us. Yeah, that'll do it for us. We will talk to everyone soon. Take care.
All right. Peace out.